Hey everybody, Edo here, and for this week's League video, I wanted to create a video about 10 things you can be doing as a Kickstarter creator right now from home to become a better Kickstarter creator, right? I think that right now a lot of people are debating whether or not to in fact do a Kickstarter. I have a video on the topic, I'll link it in the description. But whether or not you're going to, many people sort of have never experienced, engaged with, or done a Kickstarter. And I think if you're going to, or have one that you're about to do, or maybe you've done a couple, these are things that I think would help improve, give you a better shot at being a successful Kickstarter creator. And they're things you can do from home, and I think they're interesting and they're thought-provoking and get the brain churning. I had done 10 things about how to be a better designer at home, and here's 10 things to be a better Kickstarter creator. And there's some parallels, but I'll try not to include any of the same items. All right? So in no particular order, I put these together. One, just look at, review Kickstarter campaigns, right? Look at every single Kickstarter, board game Kickstarter campaign on Kickstarter right now, or previously. Look through the page. How do they lay it out? What are the commonalities? What do you like? What do you dislike? What was interesting? What sort of sucked? Like, basically, think about critically the pros and the cons of different approaches and techniques used on Kickstarter. Another thing that I've done, if you're not familiar with my channel, I have a lot of Kickstarter advice videos and those types of things, but one of the things I've done is every time I release a new Kickstarter, and I've done probably 10, 12 right now, maybe 12 at this point, I create a video about what I do the same, differently, and adjusted since previous Kickstarters. So that's me myself looking at the work I've done and said, oh, how am I doing it differently? What am I going to change? What's an interesting? Is the $1 pledge level a thing to do now? The pledge manager, all those different things I think about. So spending the time to be a connoisseur of Kickstarter campaigns on Kickstarter right now, I think is super beneficial and useful. So well worth your time. I'll also just note that Kickstarter creators are almost universally easy to accessible people. Not always, but often. So if you have questions or interest or you want to see how something did, went, or otherwise, reach out to that Kickstarter creator. They'll probably give you the information. So that was number one. Number two, you might not know this or you might not have thought of it, but you can start a Kickstarter campaign on Kickstarter anytime you want. And, you know, it doesn't have to be real. You just don't launch it. But, like, go to Kickstarter. If you're thinking about a Kickstarter, you're not there yet, you're designing a game, you want to work, start a new project. Fill out their forms, do their things, get the layout page, get all the questions. You can go through the minutiae, the stages, the pieces of creating a Kickstarter campaign, even if you're not ready. Learning how to set up your page, learning about what you need to do with payment, learning about the backer stuff. You can sort of have a mock experience of setting up and putting together a page and looking at it and previewing it and all of the features are ready for you right now. You don't have to wait. You don't have to be ready. You don't need every file. Just go do it. Maybe it'll inspire you. Maybe it'll drive you to create your game, get the rest of the way, or maybe it'll reveal like, oh, I don't have a video. I need a video. Oh, I laid out this page, but these images were all the wrong size. Or, boy, my writing doesn't feel like everyone else's writing, or whatever. After having seen many people's pages, just going through the experience of doing it. Again, don't launch it, don't submit it for consideration, but you can use it as a first draft of what you're going to build, and I think it's really useful. A lot of people have never done this, and the first time they're doing it is like within 1 month of when they're going to launch. It doesn't have to be that way. Use this time now, right now, after this video. Just start a new project, see what happens. You know, no big deal. So another thing that is super useful, spend the time to create a budget. Create a Kickstarter budget. I'm going to link a couple videos here. I have a video where I have created a budget and provide an outline and overview of it and allow people to like look at and access the Google Doc. I'll link that Kickstarter video. But go through the project of thinking about how much things are going to cost. What things do you need to consider? Art, design, materials, shipping, fulfillment, whatever, postage, software. Go through the process of a budget. Again, yeah, one day you'll have a specific game, but for now, if you like, just think about, take a game off the shelf. Oh, what are the components in here? What do they cost? Like, walk through those steps, and it'll help you understand what to prepare for, what you need to think about, how much money you should set aside. It's really useful. Of course, if you're making your own game, you're going to do this. And frankly, some people don't. But there's no reason you can't sort of fake do it now. You can have a fun pretend project that takes you through all these steps, makes you familiar about it, and gets you sort of in the minutia of it, inundated and in thinking about it, right? So I think that's a very useful thing. Another really valuable and amazing thing is read through the Panda component guide. Panda Games makes one, a number of other companies make one, manufacturers make one, but I again have done a video about their style guide. It lays out, they have a style guide and a component guide. I'll link both. How to think about your files, how to think about setup, how to think about your components, what types of materials are out there, what kind of components are out there. Like, if you are going to make your own board game on Kickstarter, you are going to have to think about what your stuff is made out of. How's it going to be manufactured? What components? What's the color? How does it get set up? Blah, 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 blah. Spend the time to look at those materials. They're free to download from Panda and other sources. Read through them. Think about it critically. Come up with ideas. It could be both inspiring, but also super useful. You need these skills to both prep, set up, and actually fulfill and deliver your Kickstarter, right? A lot of folks don't have this background, they don't have experience here, and they are unable to deliver or fulfill, or they have cost overruns and they lose a bunch of money. These are ways right now you can start just learning. Learn. Okay. Along those lines, another thing, and this is like, again, it's a little bit fake, but also still useful. Find manufacturers and request pricing. What? So, when you want to manufacture a game, unless you're going to make them all by hand, you're going to pay a company in the US and China and Europe, whatever, to print your game. There are a lot of companies that'll do it. What you're going to do is you're going to reach out to them and say, I have this game X with these things. How much does it cost? Maybe you have a game today, maybe you don't. Maybe you take a game and you describe a game that already exists, but go through the process of reaching out to all of these different manufacturers and asking them for a quote, saying, here's the stuff I want to make. Send me the details. And you'll start to see different manufacturers, different pricing, different layouts. You'll get used to talking to those folks. So when you, with your actual game, and maybe this could be your actual game, go through the process, you have some communication and history to understand what's up. Panda has a site where you can sort of like add it in directly, but there are other companies that will give you quotes very quickly. You don't have to be like, I'm going to print 100,000. Don't get them excited, but just ask them for a bid on your quote, or a quote on your bid, or whatever it's called. I think it's something good to understand. And I think part of this is this idea that whether you like it or not, this is all part of the process. And so if you're just designing and working on a game, you're missing all these other beats. You're missing the beat of budget. You're missing the beat of manufacturing. Next up, fulfillment. What you should be doing is thinking about how you're going to fulfill your title. How are you going to fulfill in the United States? How are you going to fulfill in Europe, Asia, etc.? You can get quotes. You can get quotes from fulfillment companies within the United States. You can get quotes from European fulfillment, Asia fulfillment, and understand their process. They'll send you a spreadsheet. They'll be like, here's the weight, the country, the listing. They'll give you all the quotes. And it will help you understand how expensive it is. One of the things it'll also help you understand is, boy, weight is important. Being 2 kilograms or less than 2 kilograms is pretty significant. I'm not going to, I think I will list a number of my videos, but there are a lot of great resources, and I'll talk more about this later, but just because I'm mentioning it now, James Matthey, though he's passed away, has a fantastic website of material on resources for all of these topics. Jamie Stegmeyer has some as well. I have my videos. Those guys have stuff that's a little bit more searchable on the internet. But Facebook, there are a lot of groups that can provide this information to you, and you can use it to sort of understand what you need to think about for fulfillment, or whatever. But seeing those quotes, seeing those numbers, understanding that the weight of your product is so important, starting to build the budget, you will see how all of these things lace together, and you're sort of like faking the whole process so that when you're doing it for real, you're not caught off guard. Make a game on Game Crafter. I think that it sort of fits to some of the other things I've said so far, but going through the process of like, okay, design a game. Great, you designed a game. Make a print and play. Well, if you make a print and play, that's you're doing some card layout and a variety of other things. But I think taking the step and actually using Game Crafter is fantastic. You can make boxes, cards, other things, and when you get them, you get the physical print. Now, their color palette's weird. You can't just take what you do there and go manufacturing. But as far as like really saying this is more than just my little idea, I want to like have it produced. Game Crafter's not terribly expensive. You can have a single game produced for 20, 30, 40, 50 bucks, but with your art and your components and your design. I think it's a really great way. If ultimately you're going to get reviewers and other people to get you their product, you'll be able, like having those Game Crafter prototypes will go a long way. But make your box, like lay it out, look at it, all those things. And you can do that. You can do that for fun with just simple stuff. It doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be your exact game. These are the things that you do to develop, look at, understand the process. Now, it may be the case that Game Crafter is not actually printing right now. I don't know that. I didn't look that up. But I suspect the site is still up, and I suspect you can go through the layout component picking part of it. And even that, I think, would be useful. That was number 7. Number 8. So this is a different category of thing. But a big part of your Kickstarter is your game, your idea, your marketing, but it's being a part of the digital social fabric of the game community. Kickstarters are not brick and mortar. Kickstarters are digital, that you'll send a brick and mortar thing or a physical thing, but the way that Kickstarter campaigns are shared, engaged with, and consumed is all on mobile and phone and computers and stuff like that. And so you really want to engage, learn and understand the Facebook community, learn and understand the Board Game Geek community, learn and understand the Reddit community, learn and understand the Instagram community. There are many communities of online gaming that you will want to, under Twitter, understand and be a part of. How, where, and what is up to you, but that's all stuff you can start now. You don't need your game. Give people feedback on their campaigns. React to questions. Ask questions that you might think will be interesting in the future. Engage. Involve yourself. Be a part of these communities. Contribute. Make deposits of value. And that will give you more information, insight, connections. And then when you run your Kickstarter, places to engage with those folks about what you're doing. All super valuable. All super important. Number 9. Film a how-to-play video. This is going to be something, I mean, you can pay for it, right? But this is going to be something that you'll need to do for your Kickstarter for the most part. And it's a lot of work. It is a lot of work. Filming a how-to-play is no joke. Eventually, you'll get good at it. But up front, it is no joke. So pick your favorite game and just find a way at your desk with your phone and try to film a how to play. Try to teach somebody how to play Uno. Try to teach somebody how to play Herbaceous. Whatever. But go through the process. Then film, and then watch your film and how awful it is, and try again and again, and then try to get boards, and then try to use software like iMovie or other programs to create your video. Then try to edit it. Then try to add B-roll or extra scenes. Then try to make a really good homemade how to play. Because you're probably going to have to do that for your Kickstarter. And then try to put it up on YouTube. And then try to let people know about it, right? You can do that. How to play Uno. How to play Herbaceous, whatever. It's not about building up stardom. It's about going through all these steps and process. This sort of rolls into the 10th one, which is film a pitch of your game idea. And if you don't have your own game idea, film it of a different game idea from somebody else. But try to sell a product, the idea of a product. This game is fantastic. It's great. How do you engage the camera? How do you look straight at your audience? How do you speak and be clear and consistent and, concise? These are all things that take time, take practice, and you can do that time. You can spend that time and practice now. Man, when you're nervous, when your Kickstarter is going up in 2 weeks and you still don't have your video, that's not the time. And I've been there when you want to be like learning how to make videos for the first time. If you're at home and you got a camera, try it out. Maybe buy a tripod. You don't have to. I used to do a lot of videos with this phone balancing on board game boxes. But I think going through that process, and there are two different things. One, how to play is like looking at the board, looking at the components, teaching steps. The pitch video, the sell, that piece is more about your audience and talking directly to them and selling, communicating. And those are the things that I think they're different and both warrant practice. You know what? You don't have a camera, you are uncomfortable, you can't do it in front of a mirror, but just practice the idea of selling, communicating, and promoting something. Promote your kid. Why is, Jonathan so fantastic? Why is he the best second grader there's ever been? Pitch it, record it, try it, edit it, see if you can make it snappy. And I think those will be super helpful. So all of these things really come around the idea of you don't have to be working on your game, the Kickstarter, the moment, in order to try, practice, improve upon these things. So anyway, I'll try to link these things in the comments. Hopefully it was helpful. Hopefully it was helpful. And thanks for watching. Bye. Hey everybody, Edo here, and thanks for watching Gaming with Edo. Reviews over here on this playlist, League and Insider videos over here on this one. Subscribe, share, all that good stuff. But most importantly, play some great games. Thanks.